You just have to massage your thoughts into those better feeling places. That really is the work. And we know, friends, it feels counterintuitive to humans who have been counting on your action to make things happen. But it is our promise to you, your action is minuscule in comparison with the power and the leverage of alignment with this vortex. We want to convince you that this vibrational reality, that this vortex is a broadcasting tower that includes everything that you want and all that you are, and the path to full manifestation of every bit of it. And if you can accept that that is so, and then you can just care about tuning yourself to it, which just means think thoughts that feel good, then everything will turn out the way you're wanting it to. That's where your stamina comes from. That's where your clarity comes from. That's where your vitality comes from. That's where the good ideas come from. I am the creator of my own reality, and I like that. It won't be 30 days before you will have bridged your beliefs to be more in harmony with what your inner being knows to be. And you're going to have evidence all around you. Evidence all around you of breakthrough after breakthrough. And you know what a breakthrough is? A breakthrough is you breaking through your own resistance. And I feel love. That means I've opened the conduit, and the love that is me is flowing through me, not through me only to others, but through me and to me and through me. When you're loving someone else, do you know who receives the greatest benefit of your love? You do, because your valve's wide open and every cell of your body is resonating with the love that is flowing through you, you see. Your cells are always, we really want you to think about this. Your cells are always finding the path of least resistance. Once you've got your apparatus all tuned up, and then you tune in to source energy, there is a precision about you that is undeniable and so satisfying. When we ask you to focus in a way that you allow yourself connection with broader source, so that you allow yourself to be in the receiving mode of what you've been asking for, the cells of your body are doing exactly that. When you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and trusting the process and trusting well-being and knowing who you are and expecting to thrive, that's really all you got to do. That's really all you've got to do. If you have the ability to focus yourself into alignment, if you know what your guiding light is, then you can find stability, and then you are free to go everywhere, to go anywhere. Because you have your alignment, which means you have your security, which means you have your clarity, which means you have your replenishing, which means you're good to go. A really good dreamer, someone who dreams easily, who can go into the non-resistant dream state and expectation of wonderful things coming easily. I accept that my inner being is present, even though most people can't see my inner being. So I want to be a vibrational match to my inner being who is present. So together our presence, which is a collective consciousness, makes us more influential than millions who are standing around in their physical bodies not connected with the presence of their inner being. We want you to tune yourself to the frequency of your broader self, so that you have access not to just what you're about, not to just what you intend, but to where you stand in vibrational relationship to what you intend. But not just you and you and everybody else with whom you come into contact with, because there's a whole lot going on vibrationally with all of you. Encourage each other to one thing and one thing only, and that is feel as good as you can possibly feel when you go to play. Feel as good as you can possibly go when you go to play, because when you go to play, that's when you either do or don't have some or none, or a little bit or a lot of access to that broader perspective, which means so much in terms of the way you feel, which is the only thing that really matters. Because for you to come into this physical body from source energy and then be less than you really are, you can't stand that. You got to know that this is a forum where you come to be consciously aware of your guidance system, which is your indicator of what you're doing with the vibration between you and your inner being, which is everything. It's life. It's the happily ever after factor. It's the success factor. It's the factor that everyone is wanting to understand. That's what it is, because you are deliberate creators, and you want to get really good at deliberate creating, and we want you to too. And we want you to live life and come to awarenesses of things you want, and we want those things to be important to you. And we want you to set your sights on those things, and we want you to be consciously aware that those things are coming into being more and more all day, every day. We want all of that physicalness for you, all of that physical manifestation. See it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it stuff. We want all of that for you. There's always going to be more for you to set your sights on, and this is the process of eternal life. It never stops. You never stop becoming. You've launched rocket after rocket after rocket after rocket after rocket. The whole of source energy is in on it for you. Everything is all geared up, moving in the direction of what you want. You are source energy, and before you came into this body, you were source energy. And even though you're in this body, you still are source energy. When you ask, it is given. The question is, are you going to be in the vibrational vicinity where what has been given to you, about you, on your behalf, for you? Are you in a position where you can be the receiver of what you've asked for that has been given? Or are you still in the frequency of asking rather than in the frequency of receiving? We want to talk about being in the receiving mode. We want to talk about being so much in the receiving mode that you are knowing your own invincibility. We want you to know that you can create anything that you desire. We want you to know that nothing is off limits, that universal forces, the energy that creates worlds, is flowing at your command. As you tune yourself and allow the frequency of who you are to rise to the vibrational equivalent of the non-physical you, that then there is a blending of you. And you witness that kind of blending in yourselves and in others all the time. You see it often in the athletes who are in the zone. You see it in the accomplished musicians or painters. You see it in yourself in flashes here and there. When you begin tuning into the wholeness of who you are, nothing less than that will do, because there is no regression. Now, what we want you to know is that you have been evolving much more than you know, and you have created a vibrational reality that is calling you forward. You can never step back from that knowing. Oh, it's so good when you become a conscious, deliberate creator. It's so good when you come into full awareness of the subtleties and not so subtleties of your own emotional guidance system. It's such a wonderful thing when you join on a steady and deliberate basis with your inner being, so that the whole of you is focused and present in a conversation with a new friend or an old friend. It's such a delicious thing when you are contemplating what's coming next, and you're able to tap into that vortexual version and actually catch a glimpse of who you really are and where you're really going, and not need the manifestation and other people pointing at the manifestation in order for you to believe it. It's such a wonderful thing when you come to believe because you want it, not because you have proof yet about it. It's such a wonderful thing as you stand in that gap, having launched a rocket and having faith or trust or maybe even hope that something is coming about. And then that hope morphs into absolute knowing. And even though it hasn't manifested yet, even though your neighbors aren't watching you drive it or park it in your garage yet, even though the person that you're looking for hasn't shown up in your life yet so that you can take them and show them off to your girlfriends, even though the things that you want to manifest haven't manifested in a way that others are acknowledging the existence of it, you no longer need that kind of existence of it in order to feel the fullness and the realness of it. And when that happens to you, oh, we're not just promising you certain manifestations that will come, blah, blah, blah. It can't not come when you reach that place of understanding. But what we're talking about is you standing finally once and for all in this place of absolute freedom from resistance, even when everything that you want hasn't come about yet. And that's such an important thing to understand, because you're not ever going to be in a place where everything you want has come about. You're eternal. If you are eternal, that cannot be. You can't ever get it done. And what we're saying to you is, maybe for the first time in your life, you're going to be all right with that knowledge. Not just all right with knowing that you can't get it all done, but knowing that you don't want it all now. You don't want to get it all done because you want the next and the next and the next idea to thrill you as you get to witness yourself moving closer and closer along.